My Stirling single, part 59, finishing the brake shaft hangers, drilling holes and threading them 6BA, followed by some painting. Here's the kit of parts all ready to be painted. This image is out of sequence. It's after I drilled the hangers to thread them 6BA. I'll show this very shortly in the video. I like to include details because it's details that make the difference, and if you're a beginner, some of these tasks can be quite daunting. Here are the two blocks before I drilled the holes in them. I rounded the edges slightly on the 1-inch belt sander just so they weren't sharp. I'll need to fix the barrels in place, but I'll do that later, after I've drilled the holes. As always, I'm using a centre drill to pilot the holes. This particular centre drill is slightly bigger than it needs to be. I require some more smaller centre drills. I don't know what's happened to the ones I had. I've probably lost them, or they've fallen in the chip tray, never to be seen again. I didn't centre drill these parts too deeply, but just deep enough to pilot the drill, and here I'm drilling the hole. The drill bit that I'm using is 2.2mm, although the datasheet that I have says that it should be 2.3mm, but I prefer a tighter, closer fitting thread. I'm threading these holes using a 6BA tap, and even though in this image the tap looks quite big, but it isn't. I'm being very careful not to snap it off. This is a taper tap, so it's cutting quite freely, and I'm not having to apply much pressure. The cutting lubricant that I squirted all over the tops of these pieces of metal is really making a difference. Normally I would start off the tapping process in the drilling machine as you see here, then remove the parts from the drilling machine to tap the holes by hand using a tap wrench, but in this case I find it better to leave the tap in the drilling machine. It's time now to repeat this process on the other hanger. I cannot stress enough that when using small taps and dies and small twist drills, lay off the pressure. You won't get anywhere if you put too much pressure on it, you will just end up breaking something. Give the drill bit and the small tap time to cut. Don't force it. These tips are designed for beginners, not for experts, so if you're an expert watching this, why are you watching it? Now I have a complete set of parts. All I need to do is fit a 6BA grub screw in each of the holes in the hangers. Time to go back down to the small workshop where the engine is to fit everything together, or at least, should I say, make sure it fits. Measure twice and cut once. Here I'm checking the dimensions for the length of the brake shaft, and it's 6.5 inches. I turn the brake shaft to exactly the correct dimension using my small Walco M180 lathe. I didn't show it because it was a very rudimentary process. The two pieces of stainless steel that have the 1/8 of an inch diameter hole down the middle are going to be fastened to the hangers using Loctite 603. Once this is applied to both surfaces and the barrels are pushed into position, they're going nowhere. I could have just pressed them into place had I made the parts an interference fit, but I prefer Loctite 603. In this clip, I've pushed the brake shaft partway through the mounting. Then I fitted just one of the hangers to see exactly where it's going to fit on the brake shaft. Once I've got the setting so that the drop arm supports the brake rods exactly where they need to be, I will turn up a bush for each end so it can never move, because if the rod slides from side to side, it will allow the brake rods to rub on the wheel, and I don't want this to happen. I might even use a couple of washers between the drop arm and the brake pull rod, just to give these parts a little bit more clearance. Time now for a bit of painting. I've pushed the drop arms onto a couple of pieces of 1/4 inch diameter tubing. This is an aerosol can, also known as a rattle can because of the ball bearing inside it, which mixes the paint. But I'm not going to spray the parts with this stuff. Instead, I'm spraying some into the aerosol can cap because I want to brush paint the parts. I suppose I could have sprayed them, but I do like occasionally brush painting to see how good a finish I can get. I applied a couple of coats of the etching primer, making sure that all parts of the steel were covered. This etch primer is actually called etch primer because it has an acid in it which etches the metal. This causes the paint to stick very well to the part. It doesn't work on brass, and I'm not sure that it works on stainless steel. But even though it's not supposed to, this etch primer does actually stick very well to brass. Here's a shot of the paint drying. I've rested the parts on a small machine vise that belongs to a milling machine that I have, a very small milling machine. And just as a memory refresher, this is self-etch primer that's drying on the parts. This etch primer really does need to cure before you overcoat it. The top coat is going to be HMG Paints Black Satin. I decided against my better judgment to spray the parts with this stuff, and the finish is very good indeed. I don't normally do much spraying in the house because it goes everywhere and makes the kitchen smell funny. When I spray paint in the main workshop, I'm right by a wide open door. That is it for this episode. I will leave you with a gratuitous shot of the paint drying on the bench. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.